Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. In this episode, I will be unboxing a new TP-Link Omada device. This is the TP-Link OC220 hardware controller. It is the successor to Omada OC200. I plan to use this as my primary cold backup. As you can see, this is still sealed, so this is my old cold backup. And now, this is going to be my primary cold backup. I always keep a spare hardware controller because this is the only device in my Omada environment that I personally feel is the most critical. And the main reason for that is simple, because in this diagram, even if my gateway goes down, I can just bring up any router, even a non-Omada flat LAN router, to be my internet router, and I can be back online shortly. The same reason can be said why I am not so worried if my network switch goes down, because I can always get any switch to get my clients online. The same thing goes for an access point. This will not be an issue because I can always get any access point, even non-Omada versions, and I can just configure them to have an exact same SSID and password, and I can bring my wireless network clients up and running in less than an hour. However, if my controller goes down, unless I have another Omada controller up and running, I will not have any access to any of my network devices at all. And that is why I always keep a spare hardware controller handy, and I always back up my network configuration. For this device, the OC220, I don't really expect too much in terms of functionality and capability, because I only expect it to function a little bit better than the OC200. So this one, because this is supposed to be a direct replacement or upgrade of the OC200. One thing that I noticed is that this one says lifetime warranty, so that is for the OC200, and this one you can see it's a 5-year warranty. And as I have mentioned, my only expectation for this device is that it can do what the OC200 can do, and the OC220 is in the same price. If I recall properly, I'll put the price in the video. Same price as the OC200 when I first got the OC200 about 3 or 4 years ago. So this is the side-by-side comparison, and I'll put the link in the description. This is the OC220 versus OC200, the OG one. A really welcome addition will be the gigabit Ethernet ports. The old one has the 10-100 Mbps Ethernet port, so it always bothers me that the uplink of this particular device is always showing orange on my managed switch. My TP-Link Omada switch shows an LED of orange if it's 100 Mbps and green if it's a gigabit uplink. My OCD will be appeased a little bit by this one, but it still retains the same USB 2.0 port and micro USB port as well. Negative point for TP-Link for that. For the power supply, both of them can be powered via the micro USB, and the same can be powered via PoE. The dimension, as can be seen here, is exactly the same, 3.9 by 3.9 by 1.0 inch. And it's a quad-core processor for the OC220. Both of them have Kensington lock, and they have the reset button. I'll see if I can find some power consumption in here, but there's nothing in here shown on the OC200 webpage. As far as the management features are concerned, you can see here is the same: 100 Omada access points, 10 Omada gateways, 20 Omada switches, and 2 select data stream for GPON OLTs. That's for the centralized management. It has cloud access, of course. Layer 3 management is the same for multi-site management as well. Same thing here. Then the other parts here, the and for monitoring, DPI, IPS, IDS, dashboard, statistics, network topology, network map. So I still have this on my current OC200. I found another article or write-up regarding the OC200 and OC220. There is a comparison bullet points in here. The OC220 offers 2.6 faster startup versus the OC200. The OC220 is a quad-core CPU versus a dual-core OC200. And for the memory and storage, it says here that we doubled both the RAM and the eMMC storage. Definitely this one should be a good addition. Open API used to be in my OC200 as I recall, but then it was later removed from the OC200 because of the performance. I'm not really sure how true that is, but that's what they're saying here. So on the same page, there is a short table here that shows the capability of the OC400 versus OC300 and OC220 in terms of the number of devices that they can manage. This little blurb in here, it says the OC220 is capable of handling 130 devices, the OC300 is capable of handling 700 devices, and the OC400 is capable of handling 1300 devices. So let me switch to the hardware camera while I unbox the device. Got some license information in here, some installation guide, RJ45 cable, and some rubber feet. That's pretty much it. As for the device itself, it does look like pretty much like the OC200. It looks good, it feels solid, feels metal, really feels good. So it has 2 gigabit uplink. The OC200 has the 100 Mbps uplink, so this one has 2 gigabits, so 1 gigabit each. One of them should be a PoE port, this one, a PoE, and the other one is Ethernet 2. This one is still USB 2.0 port. It has an LED power and then cloud. There's a pinhole in here for the reset button. You have holes here for mounting, holes here for the rubber feet. Has the micro USB port in here for power, and then Kensington lock in here, so USB and Kensington, and then holes for airflow. It doesn't have any fan, so it shouldn't have any noise at all. It should be very quiet. Feels solid, nothing too fancy in this particular device, and I'm going to set it up. For demonstration purposes, this is my current lab setup. I have one gateway in here, which is an ER605. It has dual wide area network. One is Comcast and one is AT&T, and it's connected to a D-Link switch. This is not Omada switch. I am just using it as a port expander. And then, as you can see here, this is the OC300 and this is the OC220. This is the one that I just unboxed. They are both in the management VLAN of the IP network 192.168.100. The OC300 is a .100 and the OC220 is a .101. The admin PC, this PC that I'm using for recording, you can see 2 lines in here. One is black and one is orange. It doesn't mean that it has 2 connections at the same time. It just means that it can connect to either the management VLAN or to the system VLAN. So this is the legends in here. I have a trunk VLAN, which is the connection between the gateway and the managed switch. And I have a management VLAN. This is the management VLAN uplinks and the system VLAN. The gateway resides in the 10.0.0 IP network, but it also contains the IP network for the 192.168.100. So that is the reason why it can connect to the OC300. In this lab, as you will notice later on the camera, I have other devices in there. I did not include it in this diagram because they are not needed for the demonstration. Let me show you the physical connectivity. I will switch back my camera to the devices. So this is the OC220 and this is the ER605, and this is OC300, and this is the D-Link switch that I mentioned on the diagram. The way they are interconnected is that the ER605 has connection to this switch. So this green cable, there you go, it's connected to this LAN port. And then the OC220, this white cable, is connected to this port, which is in the management VLAN. And the OC300, this one, this cable, is connected to this port, which is also in the management VLAN. I also have one more management VLAN in here, which is this port. All the rest of the other VLANs are in VLAN 1 or in the system VLAN. My PC, this cable with the orange tape, is my client PC, my media PC, and it's connected to VLAN 1. So that's how they are all physically interconnected. Before jumping to the setup, just a heads up that I will be doing two versions of the setup. The first version will be a much quicker and shorter version. It is just to set up the new controller with bare configuration. The second version is more involved, as I will be doing a hot swap replacement of OC300 with OC220. So 192.168.100.101. This is an out-of-the-box configuration for the OC220. Let's get started. Administrator name, so I'll just put admin in here. I'll skip the email. For the password, today is December 29, so December 29 plus sign, December 29 plus sign. I will not use cloud access, and I will accept the terms in case I forget. I will set it up as a new controller, so I will do config new setup. I'll just add 220 in here, United States. For the time, that will be Eastern time. I'll click next. I'll skip creating the site because I don't really have any sites to create right now. I don't have any gateway or switch that will be adapted in this particular controller, so I'll just click skip. Once I use skip on that one, it went straight to the summary, and I'll click finish. December 29 plus, and I'll click remember me. It will show a walkthrough. When I first encountered this, I thought this was something that I can click, but it's actually a walkthrough. In fact, you can close this one in here. But for the purpose of this video, let me just scroll to it. Go. From the looks of it, it's still using the old firmware because I know they have already upgraded the Omada interface into version 6.0 now. So it says tutorial is finished, and it quickly found out that there is a new controller available. So I will just update it. Version 1.2.11, so I'll click update. Okay. So I'm going to speed up the video in here, and I'll resume from when the download and upgrade is complete. I'll post the video in here, and I'll resume later on. Once you have fully upgraded to the new version 6.0 Omada network software, it will offer you another tutorial. You can see the X in here. So let me just do a quick start tutorial in here. That concludes the first part of setting up the OC220. Just a quick summary. The goal is to demonstrate the bare setup needed to log into the controller, as well as upgrading to the version 6 of the Omada software. The final part is to demonstrate how to restore configuration of one controller to another for replacement. For this portion of the video, what I'm going to do is restore the OC300 configuration, this Omada configuration, from my OC300 to OC220. So the OC220 is currently in an out-of-the-box settings, meaning it's factory reset. So I'm going to connect to 192.168.100.101 and do a setup using a restore from backup. So let's get started. Admin December 29 plus. I will not use the cloud access for the time being, and then click next. So I will click this one, restore from backup. Earlier, I selected config new setup. This time around, I will restore from backup. I have already downloaded a backup configuration of my Omada. As you can see here, I already have it in here. It was downloaded on December 27th, so that's what I'm going to do. Click open, and now it's doing the restore from the backup. My backup is coming from the OC300, but now I'm restoring it to the OC220. It's showing a tutorial again for the version 6.0 network. This time I'm going to skip it and go straight to the dashboard. This is a complete copy of my OC300 setup. As you can see here, it has all the sites already configured in here, but the devices will not be connected to this controller. So devices in here, if I go here, it will show all the devices in here, but it will show that they are all disconnected. If I go to OC300, you can see the devices in here are all connected, and so 10 devices in here, 10 devices in here as well. I will have all the sites in here as well. ER605, there you go, and ER707, there you go, and then ER7406, there you go, and then ER8411. What I'm going to attempt now is replace the OC300 with the OC220. So what I'm going to do is shut down my OC300. I'm just going to remove the cable. I'm not going to completely shut it down. And then what I'm going to do is change the static IP of my OC220 to be the IP address of the OC300. That way I'm simulating replacing the devices. That's how I usually do it. So let me start doing that now. The OC300 in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this device. Let me do this one. You can see here. Now you can see my devices in here, and then let me do a console in here. I'm going to ping 192.168.100.100 minus T. So that will be my Omada, which is this device OC300. And if you can see here, so this is the OC300. So if I remove this one, you will see the console to be this. As you go. So once I remove this, you can see that the ping has stopped, and let me pull it back. There you go, and it goes back again. So let me remove that again. There you go. And now what I'm going to do is change the IP address of the OC220 to be the IP address of the original OC300. Let me do that. Go global, then go settings, should be controller settings. And currently you can see here it's DHCP. I should set it to static IP, static, and then 192.168.100.100, 552.55.55.0, 100.1, 100.1. I'll just click save in here. It's very easy to differentiate the two controllers. My OC220 is using the light version of the interface, while the OC300 is using the dark interface. The next step after changing the IP will be to reboot the controller and to wait for a while. Depending on how many devices you may have, readaptation can take some time. I will be doing that off camera since it takes some time, and I'll resume the recording in about 15 to 20 minutes from now. There you go. Let me just check again devices in here. As you can see, everything is connected. This is the OC220 settings, system settings. So this is the OC220, and I have all my devices adapted in here now. It took a while for it to load back because everything was being readapted and connecting to the new OC220. This is how I usually do it. You can do this same process. For example, if your controller has shut down, is defective, you can do this process to replace your hardware controller, either because you want to upgrade it, downgrade it, or you want to replace it because it is defective. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned something from this video. If you like this video, please like the video because it really does help the channel. If you're doing something like this, or if you have a different way of doing it, or if I'm doing it wrong, do sound it in the comments. Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share what I got wrong, share what I got right. Again, thank you for watching my video. I'll see you on the next one. Happy holidays, happy new year, and I'll see you on the next one. More power to you guys, and I wish all of us all the best in the upcoming year next year. Thank you again, and bye bye.